Hey there, nature lovers. It is Jackie from Eco Endeavor, and today I want to talk to you about one of my favorite little tools in the garden that was absolutely free and that does quite a few tasks in the garden. And I use these things pretty much every day. And that is these plastic trays. Now these come free when I buy packs, like cells of 6 from the garden center. Some of them have holes along the side, some have bigger holes in the bottom, some have smaller meshes, some of them have solid sides so that they don't have holes in them like these ones here. And I have quite a few of them because every time I go to the garden center, and even if I'm only buying like one pack of plants, I always grab one of these trays and I look to see the different varieties of them because I find they all have different uses and different purposes in the garden. Number one way I use them, the obvious, is for seed starting. So these fit inside nicely into another tray for your watering tray, and then you can grow all of your plants well in them, and then your 6 cell packs fit in here nicely too, and it just helps keep your seed starting organized. So the second way that I like to use them in the garden is to use them to harvest produce from the garden and use them as a wash station. So I don't want to take this into my sink inside because it has dirt on it. So I can put I just harvested horseradish root, and I'm going to harvest some carrots as well. And they're full of dirt. We've just had rain, we've just had frost. Like, I don't want to take this into my indoor sink, so I'm going to spray them outside, and then having this to allow the water to go through and then all that dirt's going back into the garden is great. It's a perfect use for them. Another way I like to use them is to dry and cure things. So I like to put my garlic on these, and because they create really good airflow. So I actually put them up like this, and then I sit the garlic on top, and then the air can pass through the sides, the air can pass through the top, through the bottom, and it's creating a perfect drying environment for all of those garlic to sit on, and same with your onions as well. What am I at, number 4 now? The fourth way is to the combined way of drying and washing, or washing first and then drying. And particularly if you have any nuts, this is a great tool for those. Now with the nuts, you do want to make sure that you have one of the ones with the solid sides, because some of the nuts are a little bit smaller and they will slip through, like one with these bigger sides here. But I mean, I have so many of these that this one here, okay, the nuts will go through there, but not through that one. They're perfect for drying your nuts. You can wash your nuts right in there and then dry them, and you don't have to change them or move them around or anything. They're just in one container and that's it. And I actually even have nuts being stored in 2 layers of these because they stack really nicely as well. Okay, now the way that you probably haven't thought how to use them is to protect your seedlings in the spring. So in the spring, as soon as I plant my peas or my beans, I have little birds that are like digging in my ground completely, like wanting to eat they eat the pea seeds, but they're digging for worms. And every time they're digging in my garden, they are disturbing those seeds. So if I put one of these over top the seeds that I have just planted, the birds can't get at them. I'll put some rocks on top to make sure those birds aren't able to lift them up, because we got some smart birds. Like crows definitely would be able to lift these things up. They're pretty smart, those crows. But that's one way that you maybe haven't thought of using them, is to protect your seedlings from scratching, digging birds. Now, similar to protecting your seedlings is in a heat wave, if you have brand new seeds that have just started to sprout and you want to protect them from the scorching sun, which when I plant my carrots in, like I plant a late season of carrots and beets in July, and that's when it's like our heat wave. So there's like intense scorching sun on those little baby seedlings and they can't handle all that. So if you put one of these over top, you're creating some filtered shade for them as well, kind of a windbreak, especially if you have the one on the sides here, that is then helping those little seedlings to not be completely in direct sun while the rest of your garden is in direct sun. They're just perfect to help shade and filter out that sunlight. And I use them quite a bit for that reason as well. Now, so any other way I use these? Oh, I just used it today. So by stacking 2 of these together, so the one with the sides here and the one with this mesh has very small openings, I created a garden sifter. I created a garden sifter for my compost, so I can easily sift my compost and take out all those big chunks and those rocks and whatnot. And again, depending on how fine I want my like compost to be sifted, maybe I want bigger chunks in it, then I can use like one of these ones. They are very versatile, these trays, and they're free. They're free. I'm keeping them out of the landfill. I'm reusing them, and I'm being quite creative in the way that I use them. So I find them to be a great tool that, I mean, they stack very easily. I'm trying to stack them all right now. Some of them are a little bit different sizes, which kind of irritates me a little bit, but for the most part, they don't take up a lot of space in my shed, and I can use them in so many different ways. So these are, again, just a great tool to have in your garden. And I don't know, do you reuse these? Do you get these for free at garden centers? Do they just go to waste and end up in the trash? I just think as a society, we really need to start being more mindful of our consumption, especially our plastic consumption. So anytime I can reuse plastic that comes into my life is a win for me. And anytime I can save money on gardening stuff is a win for me too, because now I don't have to buy shade cloth. I don't have to buy wind barriers. I don't need to buy a little garden sieve sifter. I can just use what I have and it works perfectly in all of those ways I just mentioned. Let me know if you reuse these, and if you have any other creative ways. There's a plane going over right now, but oh well. Yeah, let me know if you reuse these and if you have any creative ways to use them, and in the comments below. That's what I meant. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.